Welcome to Tabletop Tolson. I'm Kimberly, and I cannot wait to tell you about Revive. Now, I just played it, but it was released in 2022, and I will tell you right now, if this game had been on my table last year, it would have given my number one game, Lacrimosa, a run for its money. For sure. So what makes Revive so cool and really one of my favorites as of late? I'll tell you about that in this video. Right from the start, there's hidden stuff, and I love hidden stuff. So that means there are components in the game and cards that are not available in the base game and part of a 5-part campaign game series. And so they recommend just starting off with the campaign in that very first game. And it doesn't have a legacy feel to it in the sense that the outcome of the first game means that players are going to start with or be at a disadvantage for the next game. Nope, that's not it, because there are plenty of legacy games that change and give players different setups for the next round. That's not what's happening here. What's happening is you're getting more stuff as you get used to the game, and there are all these different maybe factions or cards or things that you get to incorporate into the game, and the game itself is already really big and juicy. This is a 90 to 120 minute game. This is going to last a while, and the games are long. The end of the game happens when a player takes that last artifact, the major artifacts from the top of the board, and then that is going to be essentially the end. Everyone's going to get equal turns, and then you're going to score up. Now, it's super easy to kind of pace yourself and to not activate or not gain those artifacts and do all these other things, but you've got to keep track of your fellow opponents and if they're taking artifacts, because you get a card in the beginning of the game that tells you if you get one of the 3 colors of artifacts, you get a game end multiplier for X, whatever that is. So you want to gain the artifacts for those end game victory points, but by taking them, you are also furthering the end. The end is near. The more you take of those, the closer the end of the game happens. So it's a really nice trade-off. And what are you doing on your turn, though? I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself because there's so much to like here. Now, players are going to, on their turn, be able to do one of 2 things. They can either play 2 actions, or they can hibernate. And if you hibernate, you're simply resetting your turn. And it reminds me a whole bunch of Tapestry, where players are going into hibernation whenever they want, and it's not in a particular round sequence. So I could go and hibernate, resetting a lot of things and gaining some resources, and getting a bunch of stuff and some new cards. But I'm doing that, and you're not necessarily doing that. And I could even do that again sooner than you do as well. And when you hibernate, you also move up on a track, and that track is going to either give you things, or if you get a little bit too high on the track, there might be a penalty as well. But you're going to hibernate, which happens less often than the main choice, which is take 2 actions. And those 2 actions are a choice of 5 things, and you can do the same 2 things, or you can do 2 different things. And it's so simple, it's so streamlined, super easy to understand. And there's a card that you get to have in front of you with these big chunky cubes. And you say, I'm doing this, I'm going to play a card down. I'm going to build one of my houses. I'm going to, move one of my discs. And whatever you're doing, you do the action, and then you do your second action, and then it's the next player's turn. So it's just the right amount of turns to give you enough to do and enough to plan for, but not too much and not enough. And so 1, it's not enough to do. It's just not a turn. But 2, a good turn, because you really want 3, and they won't give you 3. So like every good game, it gives you just enough, but not enough to feel satisfied. So when it comes back to you again, you're ready to do something else. So the turns are relatively quick and very easy to understand. I love how clean and oddly simple it is. Now, what you do with those 5 choices, your 2 actions, is where things start to really, diverge. And there's a lot to, get in each other's way with when it comes to the map on the board. You are essentially flipping over tiles, you're exploring them. There are going to be spaces that players can build buildings and move out into with their people, and that's going to kind of prevent other people from, being in certain spaces, and there's a little bit of conflict, and you might actually get in each other's way, and you might kind of be vying for the same resources, which is built into the game. The other place where you might have just a little bit of player interaction is the cards and the little chits that are available in the market display area. And so if someone is going to go in front of you and they take the card that you really want that's on display, you're going to have to change strategy, you're going to have to change tactics and figure out like, okay, well, I was going in this direction and I wanted that thing, but maybe I could go over here and then I could do that. So it's not just like an immediate decision, which of course is like that small tactics, but it could also change the direction of the way you're heading for the game, which is cool. I like games that allow you to kind of find your way and you don't even really know what you're doing until you get to the end and you're like, wow, I really went hard on this and I definitely pushed on that and I use this ability all the time and I didn't see that happening. So it's very, very cool. Now there is a deck building element in this and you are drawing these cards and adding them to your player area that you can play cards to. And you are also playing cards much like Lacrimosa, either based on the top card, you want the top stuff, or you want the bottom stuff. And you have different places that allow you to activate the top or the bottom. So when you invest in a card, you're looking not only at the color, which there are 3 of, you're looking at the symbols, the benefit, if it has a top thing or a bottom thing that you really want. And if you're able to unlock one of your technologies, you could upgrade and get the sideways one that allows you to put your card top or bottom facing out. And then you have 5 different card activations, because once you've filled up all of your card activations, you can't add cards until you hibernate, which clears them. So there's just some wonderful, wonderful choice with how you build your deck and what you do with your cards, either based on the top or the bottom. Now you're building out all these different houses and little people on the map, and the hardest thing about that is you have a range restriction. And the range restriction is always just, the first thing I always put my reusable lightning bolt on, which means I get to have an immediate cool bonus, is the one that says I can do 1 away and have like a 1 discount. It's like the one really cool thing. And this is the place on the player board that I haven't even talked about yet. There's like this really cool spiral tech tracks, and there are 3 different colors like the cards, same 3 different colors. And you are advancing on this track, unlocking cooler and cooler bonuses based on your progress in those sections. And how do you get progress? Well, you get it by going out to the map and getting those particular progress or unlocked movement on that particular board. Just cool. Every player is going to have a unique person, a unique kind of faction that they have 3 totally cool unlockable things that they have that nobody else has. I love it. Now, the campaign is what is interesting me the most, because we did start the campaign, and I have to say, it makes you want to play again, it makes you want to try a different strategy, it makes you want to try a different faction, and there's no pressure on how well you did in the previous game. You're just playing again, and you're just playing a different group and a different focus, and all the tiles are different, all the cards are different, all the bonus chits are different, and so it just is super, super cool. There's just enough delicious what's under here mystery things that it just adds so much excitement. So when I think about playing this 2-hour game, this strategy game with wonderful, cool card activations, deck building, exploration, this ticks all the boxes. It really, really does. Now, it doesn't have any dice, and that's pretty cool. So I think people might enjoy that. I like a good dice worker placement. I like a good, little bit of luck. But this is great, and I don't have to have dice in games, and I think this is just a fantastic example of a very controlled, yet still fun and mysterious, unknown information and materials that keeps players just excited about what are they going to turn over and what are they going to find as they explore. I love it. I really do. And like I said at the beginning, this absolutely gives Lacrimosa a run for its money, but in a good way, because now I've got two amazing games from 2022 that just blow me away. I really, really enjoy Revive, and I can't wait to finish that campaign. And the kicker, this game is so clean. It is so easy to understand. It's easy to just see all of the iconography and to feel the game. It's just really, really intuitive. And I feel like when you take your turn, you get a lot of stuff. And when you take the hibernation turn, you get a lot of stuff. It makes you feel like it's not a penalty to hibernate. It's not like the worst move in the world. You just have to hibernate. You're gonna have to do it in a game. Maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 times. But it makes you feel like you're actually getting something. And it's cool because you get to do it pretty much whenever you want to. And every player is going to do it at a different time. So player choice, wonderful, easy play. And I think the campaign is just such a clever move because yes, there's hidden mystery material at the bottom underneath everything that says don't open, don't look at until the story campaign deck tells you to, which we are making our way through. So thank you so much for joining me in my exploration of Revive and how much I really, really like it.